was built by slaves, a land that was built by indigenous people, a land that is built by workers. Are you prepared to defend this land? The people united will always prevail. I need you all to stand firm, to stand strong. If this president decides to continue to break this Constitution, are you prepared to defend this?
Disclaimer. The views and opinions expressed on this panel show are those of the individual speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of this channel, its affiliates, sponsors, or production team. This content is intended for informational and entertainment purposes only. Viewer discretion is advised. We encourage respectful dialogue and critical thinking around the topics discussed.
Party. Why I like the new party? Number one, it's a group of people that's on a panel. We all have differences, but we all basically still come together at the end of the day. The new party for me is about unity. The new party for me is about educating people to the truth, letting people know what's been going on in our country. With that being said, shout out to the new party, man. We're going to keep it going with y'all.
Welcome to the new party. I'm Nora Christine.
I'm Gray Mars.
I'm Kamal.
I'm Mia.
I'm Skeptic.
I'm Heaven.
And I'm Enzo.
And tonight on the new party, we have a lot to break down. In that very first clip, we see Mayor Johnson appearing to incite violence. I mean, like in 2021, when the Republicans said it was an insurrection. So, Gray, our resident Democrat on the panel, what do you think about what he said? You going to go take up charge and fight for your country?
That was a little bit extreme. I wouldn't necessarily say that was necessarily the route to take. I feel like you could just let it play out in court, or see what Trump does, and if he messes up, then the public can be the judge.
Wow. Well, I got an even better clip for everybody, and then we can all react to it. Here he's talking about why he's seeing problems. He's blaming everyone but his leadership.
Progress. However, we will never be able to end gun violence in Chicago as long as the president continues to allow tens of thousands of guns to be trafficked into our state and our city. The vast majority of guns do not come from Chicago. They are not made in Cook County. They are not bought in the state of Illinois. These guns come from red states. They are coming from Indiana. They are coming from Mississippi. They are coming from Louisiana. And that is the harsh reality, whether Republicans like it or not. Occupying our city will do nothing to solve this problem. No matter how much work we do or how hard we work, whether it's expanding our Detectives Bureau, investing in community violence intervention, and addressing the root causes of crime, none of it will ever be enough until the president decides to end the mass trafficking of guns in our city. For every gun that the Chicago Police Department fights to get off the streets, 2 or 3 more new guns come into our city. Chicago will continue to have a violence problem as long as red states continue to have a gun problem. Shootings will continue as long as this presidential administration continues to put politics over people. We have sued Glock over their semi-automatic guns that are easily converted into automatic weapons with switches. We have taken down gun stores in Indiana that illegally sell thousands of guns to traffickers who move them into Chicago. But whatever we shut down, and whenever we do this, another one pops up. The governor has worked extremely hard to strengthen our gun control laws across our state. And as much as we would like to, we cannot send officers across state lines to stop this problem at the source. We only have jurisdiction over our own city. The governor only has jurisdiction over our state lines. It is the role, more importantly, the responsibility of the federal government and the president to stop the trafficking of weapons across state lines. For every shooting in Chicago, there is a gun trafficker in Mississippi making money. There is a gun trafficker in Louisiana profiting off of our pain. And this is a serious problem that has gone on for far too long, and it requires serious solutions. We wrote a letter to President Biden after a mass shooting in Chicago 2 years ago, asking for more resources to stop gun violence in our city by deploying federal agents to hold these gun traffickers accountable. President Biden responded with more resources and stronger enforcement, and that alone had a significant impact on gun violence in our city. We need President Trump to do the same.
So they need President Trump to do the same, yet they don't want President Trump to send in the National Guard. Enzo, he said a whole lot of mumbo jumbo. What do you think about what he said?
I couldn't tell if I was listening to a Kamala speech or him, because it was just a bunch of words with no meaning and nothing behind it. Man, Trump is giving you the keys to the castle to clean up your streets, and you're saying that you will incite violence. What kind of horse shit is that? The issue is not the red states, because, okay, somebody like me, right? I can go from Jersey to PA with my gun and get stopped there. That's technically trafficking, right? Why don't you stop making your state a gun-free state and a gun-free zone? Because obviously criminals aren't going to pay attention to gun-free zones. You're going to have more violence in a gun-free state than a state that has open carry, that is a state that you're allowed to have guns. It is the stupidest thing of blame the gun, blame the gun, blame the gun, instead of blaming the fucking criminals and the fucking people. Crack down on the fucking criminals. Crack down on people coming across your state. That's simple. Coming into your city.
Silence.
President Trump?
I really don't know what he said at the end of that sentence. I don't think he knows what he said either. Well,
That's probably what Trump was thinking when he heard that. I'm gonna let Democrat go. Skeptic, what do you think about his speech? Do you agree with what he said? Is it the red state's fault?
So like I get what he's saying, because I do think that we have like mixed data, right? When we talk about gun control and we talk about crime statistics. So in some form, even though you may have a city that has very strict gun laws, you have towns and states around it that have very relaxed gun laws. And so you're always going to have those illegal guns being moved over. So it is a nationwide issue. I do think that we can move forward and have smarter gun laws, or maybe put in some provisions without necessarily trampling on your Second Amendment right? I do think there are some changes that we can do that could make things kind of make sense. And I know the whole conceal thing is an argument that people have, but if we're seeing that it's one type of gun that's being used for mass unalivings, I feel like maybe putting restrictions on that particular gun would even help with that. Like something needs to be done. So I can see what he's saying. When it comes to crime, again, I do think that it's a dog whistle. Like I see now that a lot of cities that are Democratic ran and that have a lot of Black and brown people as far as demographic goes are now being singled out as the worst cities in the US. When in reality, when we look down at, crime statistics, why isn't Alaska being viewed? Alaska has a lot of white murderers. Why are we doing nothing about this? We're not worried about states that have high crime. We're worried about these cities because we want to infiltrate the government that they have. We want to infiltrate the mayor. So I see what he's saying in some way. I do think that there's a lot of like underlying dog whistles that have some racism attached to them and why they're going after these cities.
And I fact checked you, Skeptic, but Skeptic is right. I gotta give it when it's right. She's right. They are substantially higher for violent crime in Alaska. It probably has to do with the weather too, and the, like the sun. They don't have sun 6 months out the year. Mia, somebody that lives in the tundra, what's your thoughts on what she said and Mayor Johnson?
I do live in the tundra. So I think it's crazy that this Mayor Johnson, like, let's start with, he only has a 6.6% approval rating. To begin with, nobody likes him, and I see why. Like, this man acts like we don't have Google. He is completely lying when it comes to Illinois' production of guns. I mean, Illinois themselves produced 607,000 weapons. They have multiple firearm manufacturing plants in Illinois alone. They represented 4.5% of all mass production guns in the United States. This one state produced all that. So I don't understand why he's lying about the truth. The truth is Illinois has plenty of guns. These guns are not coming from red states in. They're legitimately being produced by Illinoisans. I'm so confused why he's going to lie about this. Like, that's so crazy to me to sit there and lie like we don't know. I mean, one manufacturer alone produced 562,000 firearms in 2022 alone in Illinois. So let's be real. The guns aren't crossing into state lines. They're being produced in the next county over. I hate when people lie, especially about the 2A. Like, buddy, we all have Google. We'll fact check you. Don't blame the red states. If you don't like what's going on in your own state, lobby to your governor. But the simple fact of the matter is Illinois produces hundreds of thousands of weapons. They're not coming in from red states. Don't be throwing dirt on our names over here in red states, bro. You have your own problems. Follow it yourself.
Damn. All right. Kamal, as somebody that comes from the bluest state in the country and somebody that has seen a lot, well, not you, but your state has seen a lot of gun violence, what is your thoughts? Because at one point, LA and places like that was the capital for gun violence in America.
Yeah, and I lived in Oakland in the 90s. Just to give you to paint a picture for y'all. But you motherfuckers in the chat funny today. God damn. Somebody said, hold on, let me find it. When innocent individuals are being stabbed, I never see or hear anyone advocating for the ban of all knives. God damn. What? Jesus Christ, you got a point. You feel me? Maybe in the UK they probably advocate for, less sword play and knife fights and shit like that. I hate to say it because sometimes this brother be speaking Sambanese, but Chris Rock was right. Make the bullets $1 million. You might see gun crime go down significantly at this point. It's hella guns here. It will always be hella guns here. Ain't no stopping it. It's like having a house infested with roaches. Once they in that bitch, you better just ask and they pay rent. All right? Make them bullets cost hella money. Watch people start thinking, do I really want to shoot this motherfucker? Is he worth $20,000 a bullet? Because $20,000 is a lot of money. People going to start rethinking like, I don't know if I want to shoot this motherfucker for $20,000. He getting on my motherfucking nerves. But yeah, let's stop with the gun shit and the red states. Going to bring the guns to the blue states. Blasey. Guns is being transferred everywhere in the United States of goddamn America. All right? Make them bullets. Hey, get them bullets up. And Brandon Johnson been on bullshit. I almost threw up hearing the horse shit from his mouth. Y'all saw he try to slip in there our lineage struggle to try to pass his goddamn democratic policies.
Yes.
Built by slaves too. That's why we shouldn't have any guns.
Kamal, this is how it landed. Look.
For real, I'm like, man, what is going on, man?
Sound effects.
You feel me?
Gotta remind you. Heaven, what's your thoughts? Did it land well? Did you see his point, or did he fail like the African in the shot?
Just like every other person in politics lately, no accountability. No one wants to take accountability at all. It is your city. Yes? Then make some changes. If not, stop crying.
Hey, she landed the plane fast. She dropped the facts.
That shit was legit. That wasn't a plane. That was